Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rusty for Real. Not really. Welcome to also Rusty Buckets. This is the first video on this channel reacting to the games that happened today. Damian Lillard completely broke my heart. That's going to be the title of this video or something like that. Dude, fuck me. Okay, if you didn't watch this game, the first quarter, the Bulls had a pretty comfortable lead on the Blazers. It wasn't huge. It was probably like 6 points at the end of the first, something like that. The Blazers just were not making shots, but then in the second quarter, it didn't seem like they could miss shots, and like I want to be mad at the Bulls for that, but like at the same time, it's not even like they were playing poor defense. Legitimately just couldn't stop them. They were just making contested shots over and over again, as Damian Lillard tends to do. Gary Trent was making pull-up threes out of the pick and roll, out of the mid-range. He was killing it. Robert Covington made some shots. It was just a whole lot of shots dropping, regardless of the defense. But third quarter, the Bulls start the comeback. Fourth quarter, to close it out, they get the comeback. They're up 5 points with like 10 seconds left. Yeah, up 5 points with 10 seconds left. I just said that out loud. And man, the inbound it to Damian Lillard, he hits a deep three-pointer over Kobe White. Like, I'm talking like the range of that shot he hit against OKC. And then the Bulls inbound it to Zach LaVine, who gets trapped in the corner, and as a result, they tie him up, and it results in a jump ball, which the Bulls would lose. Although the Blazers did not get the greatest control of the ball out of the situation, Damian Lillard happens to get the ball in his hands, gets a step-back three over Lauri Markkanen, and it drops right at the buzzer. So 6 points in 10 seconds to make the comeback on two back-to-back plays. Damian Lillard, I believe he had 41, something in that ballpark. The title of this video was going to be Zach LaVine has reached another level, because he had yet another really good game. Maybe not his best of the last few, but still good. But fucking, I gotta talk about Damian Lillard now. He just killed us the whole goddamn game, and it didn't matter the defense the team played. It didn't matter how far the shot was. Dame just made it every time. And what's funny is at halftime, they because League Pass is a joke, they were showing clips of asking NBA fans who they would take between Curry or Dame to close the game for a game winner, and then he gets a game winner in that game. Also, that marks the second buzzer beater three of the Bulls' 11 losses this year. So that's fun. 2 losses that are the difference of one shot that happened at the buzzer. It was Damian Lee to start the year with the Warriors, I believe that was the Warriors' first win of the season, and then Damian Lillard. So Damians don't like the Bulls, apparently. So that was rough. On the nights where the Bulls are playing, my focus on other games is going to be a little bit worse, just because when there are games happening at the same time, the Bulls game is going to take priority to me. So as a result, for a little bit, I went between the Suns game, who I don't even remember who they were playing, the Mavericks, and then I also watched the Pelicans versus the Rockets. So the Houston Rockets game, that team just looks really good. Like, they look like an actual NBA team. They look like they can be respectable. I was also pondering titling this video like the Houston Rockets are good without James Harden, but then Damian Lillard had to hit that shot, which completely rained on that parade. Christian Wood had a great performance. John Wall was pretty good. Victor Oladipo was good. He hit a bunch of three-pointers. It was really just, this team has so many bodies. Like, it's one of those teams where there isn't a clear cut, like, oh yeah, this guy is by far the best player on this team. It's just a bunch of really good players with some good depth, like John Wall, Victor Oladipo, the rookie. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Tate. He had a really good game. He had some nice drives and some three-pointers. Christian Wood, DeMarcus Cousins. Off of the bench, David Nwaba's a really good defensive player. Eric Gordon can score. Daniel House is solid. Like, this is a team that has the depth, that has the scoring ability. Defensively, team's not all that amazing. John Wall, Victor Oladipo is a good defensive backcourt, but the front court is not all that great on that end. But this Rockets team is definitely respectable without James Harden. Now, if they're a playoff team, I'm not too sure about that. But because the Western Conference is so stacked, but it's definitely a talented team. Then if we're going to talk about the New Orleans Pelicans, I don't know what the exact stats are, but it really seems like Zion Williamson is playing second fiddle to Brandon Ingram. And I don't think that's how it should be. Zion, I'm probably going to make a big video about him eventually because he's an interesting case in the league. Zion is definitely, he has his issues, and those issues are worth being discussed, like his defense and the lack of a jump shot. But he is a freight train at the basket, and it kind of annoys me when I'm seeing him being passive because the offense doesn't seem to want to go to him when the offense should be built around him himself. So Zion, it's not really an aggressive thing on his part. It's the team is not built for him to be getting the most out of his game that they can. Also, what's his fucking name? Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he had a really good game. He hit some pull-up threes out of the pick and roll. That was nice to see. But they didn't have a shot really in this game versus the Rockets because just from the jump, the Rockets were killing them on offense. Defense, I mean, really, the Pelicans defended themselves more than the Rockets actually defended them. They were just missing some bunnies. And then once the Rockets got that lead, there wasn't really too much of a hope of the Pelicans coming back, which they didn't. And then I mentioned I briefly watched that Suns-Mavs game. I only watched the first half because I missed the first 6 minutes of the game. And I got to the last 2 minutes of the second quarter, and I was like, wait a minute. Where's Devin Booker? Apparently Devin Booker didn't play this game. I don't know if he has an injury and I missed it, but he didn't play this game, so I was like, I don't really want to watch this. I actually don't know. I think the Mavs actually lost that game, but I didn't check that. I probably should have checked that before doing this. Hopefully I'll learn to do that. But I didn't watch the second half because I was like, I don't want to watch the Suns without Devin Booker. I did make a note of DeAndre Ayton. He needs to be more assertive physically. There are very few players in the league that should be able to physically dominate more than DeAndre Ayton. And he just doesn't. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know it would probably just have to be a mental thing because he's clearly strong and athletic enough to force his will upon people in the paint, and he just doesn't. He shoots 4 free throws a game when he really should be shooting around 10 because he should just be in the post, down low, drawing contact, drawing fouls, all that shit. DeAndre, and in order for him to take that leap as a player, his defense has improved, his jump shot has improved. It really seems like the aggressiveness is going to be the next step. Also, for that Rockets game, I forgot to mention one of my favorite players in the league, Ben McLemore. He is also another body for the Rockets. That's not really relevant anymore, but Ben McLemore is one of my favorite players. I just love the look of his jump shot, so I wanted to bring up Ben McLemore. But anyways, the biggest game of the day had to be the Lakers versus the Celtics, and this was definitely an interesting one. I don't know what the end score was exactly, but I believe it was under 100 points for both teams. Something like that. I really should confirm these things before I go about saying them. But you know what? These are unfiltered, so it is what it is. All I know is there was a lot of defense in this game. This was very clearly a close matchup. It came down to one shot. We'll get to that in a second. Jason Tatum was really good in the clutch for this team. LeBron James, that guy, his 3-point shot's so much better now. I'm waiting for him to cool down, and he hasn't. I don't know what his finishing stats were. I think he was 5 for 12, 5 for 13 from 3. He had a 3 in Daniel Tice's face that was so disrespectful. He took 40 jab steps and then shot it, and it dropped. The shot before that, he had a 3-pointer that bounced off of the top of the rim and in. He shooting 40% from 3 on 7 attempts so far this year. I think that percentage and attempts rate is about the same after this game. So yeah, LeBron James shooting the 3 ball very well this year. I'm just wondering if it's going to hold up, but he seems rather confident in it. Other than that, I mentioned Daniel Tice there earlier. I don't know why Brad Stevens insists on these Daniel Tice plus another center lineups. He keeps doing Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson or Daniel Tice and Robert Williams. Daniel Tice is a center, dude. He's just not a power forward. Now, defensively, especially in a case versus the Los Angeles Lakers when it's Anthony Davis and Marc Gasol, Defensively, it works, I think. Daniel Tice is not a horrible matchup for AD just because AD is not as assertive as he should be in terms of like just bullying people in the paint. But he is like offensively, he's not a power forward. He's not a good enough three-point shooter like at all. I mean, he's not horrible at it, but he's not good at it. I just really don't like those lineups. Robert Williams, I mean, he's a guy who's been like a prospect for like 3 years now for the Celtics. I haven't really seen him get all that much better. He's prone to make a highlight play, but I don't know that he's really a rotational piece on this team just because Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice are better than him, and those guys should not have overlapping minutes. Unless you're playing a team like the Lakers, and it's fair in this one, there's no incentive really to run that unless you're playing against a team that has a legit power forward. Maybe the Milwaukee Bucks as well. But other than that, I would just rather Daniel Tice at center or Tristan Thompson at center, and then you mix the minutes between those two. Daniel Tice is a bit more versatile. Tristan Thompson is a bit bigger and stronger. So depending on your matchup, that's who you put in the game. But them together, I don't like it, and I think it hurts the spacing of the Celtics team. Anyways, this was a close game. It came down to a Kemba Walker jump shot on the possession before Damian Lillard. Why did I say Damian Lillard? Have him on the mind. He's going to haunt my fucking dreams from here on out. Anthony Davis, he had a post-up that he just didn't take advantage of because really there's nobody on this team that AD shouldn't be able to out-physical other than Tristan Thompson. And I'm pretty sure the guy who was on him, I think it might have been Tatum. My memory is clearly very shit, but he lost the ball, and the Celtics had kind of an ugly fast break. And actually, if Kemba threw the pass to Jaylen Brown properly, that probably would have been the game, but either Brown fumbled it or the pass wasn't good enough. It was one or the other, and Brown ended up getting the ball back to Kemba, who took a step-back shot from mid-range, and it missed barely, and then Daniel Tice had a putback attempt that missed barely. So the Celtics ended up losing this game by 1 point as a result, but certainly a fun battle. I did put a side note. I wrote little notes for this game. Anthony Davis is not as physically assertive as he should be. This is an issue I've had with him for a while. I think back to the clearest example being the Houston Rockets series in round 2, where he was taking a bunch of fadeaway jumpers over PJ Tucker. You should be bullying him out of the way and getting him to the basket. Now, I understand that PJ is a strong guy, but he should still be able to overpower him. And more importantly, he can just shoot over him. So just get him low enough in the paint or down low enough in the paint, and you just get the layup. And in this game, a lot of mid-range jump shots, despite having matchups where he should be able to take more advantage of it. But that was just a side tangent about Anthony Davis. The Lakers win this game. LeBron, 3-point sniper. Kemba missed the shot. I believe he was had a really poor shooting night in general. I think he was 1 for 12. I kind of wonder if the Kemba Walker signing was kind of a mistake, because I think back to that offseason, you could have used that money for Malcolm Brogdon and then filled out that bench. Malcolm would have been cheaper, younger, better for this team because he's more of a playmaker and defender, and you could have filled that team out with a bunch of role players, and this team is kind of lacking in depth. So hindsight being 2020, that's probably what the Celtics should have done, and it's not what they did. But yeah, that was also Rusty Buckets episode 1. Tune in tomorrow for the next video, I guess.